With Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk about the top 5 reasons for phase 1 interceptive orthodontics urgency. In other words, whenever you have a parent asking you, listen, I've got a couple kids here. If you had to put your money into one of these kids, which one's more urgent? Or I can't afford to do both kids right now. Which one's more urgent? Or doc, really, if this was your kid, would you really do it right now? Is it that urgent? These are the type of questions, and you really shouldn't wait for a patient to even ask you that. You need to qualify the urgency with every single patient. So if you're coming in at every single screening saying it's so urgent, everything's on fire, listen, your team is going to know. And because I have literally, this is how I picked offices to associate with. And this is interesting. So, obviously, every orthodontist has a different philosophy. Some people think some stuff is more important than others. That's cool. We're all trained differently. We all have different life experiences. So if you ask one orthodontist, they're going to say it's urgent. If you say another one, they're going to think it's not that urgent. You got to remember, in their hands, they probably can fix it no matter what. Just maybe they can't fix it as well, or in a different way, or in the way they want, or in the way the parent wants. So obviously, what are some of the variables? Well, waiting usually means, especially if it's a girl, you're waiting until growth is done. If you're waiting till all the teeth come in, you're most likely waiting until growth is done. This is not a problem if you have a normal case with not a lot of crowding, with no AP issues, no with transverse issues, no vertical issues. Okay, that's probably fine then. I'm not going to give you a definitive it's fine, but it's probably fine. But if there's actual malocclusion issues, these might work out better if you do it while the patient is still growing and or decrease the likelihood of impactions and stuff like that. So let's go over that list of my kind of top 5 reasons. And, if you don't have any of these 5 reasons, it may not be that urgent, but I strongly recommend that you get, if there's anything that you need to really train yourself up in, it's this. The more consults you do, the more you go over consults with an orthodontist, with a mentor orthodontist, the more you'll understand what's urgent, what's not, and how to talk to patients and parents. And you can never give a promise, but all you can say is, look, I know it's tough. These are expensive. It's not just expensive. There's a lot of commitments. I know you have a lot going on. Let's make sure we're picking the right timing. So, okay, top 5 reasons. Number 1, risk of impactions. If you don't have a risk of impactions if you wait, then I'm less concerned. And by impactions, I'm not really talking about third molars. I'm talking about the most likely suspects, your canines and your premolars, and sometimes incisors. So if any of those could potentially get stuck, that's a problem, okay? And I think parents deserve the right to know, and there's nothing worse than when I would get patients that would come in at 12, 13, 14, and they were told, oh, it's okay if you wait, and then they had something major happen. They were pissed at that first orthodontist. Pissed. They're like, they never told me there was a chance of this. I would have totally done something. This happened over and over and over. And eventually, these parents would start to come to me for phase 1 treatment for their next kids. And they wouldn't go to these other orthodontists because I was willing to do phase 1 and at least giving them options. Okay, number 2, risk of root resorption. If there's a risk of root resorption, leaving teeth the way they are, teeth are, sitting on other teeth. No, yeah, just get started then. Or at least give them the option. Number 3, shifts. If you have any shifts, either AP shifts or lateral, transverse shifts, that's a problem. Things can grow the wrong way. Number 4, asymmetries. If you have asymmetries, that's a problem. And lastly, any class 3 or vertical issues are super urgent. Class 2 is too. Or airway issues, any of those things. Class 2 is as well if there's airway issues. So class 3 for sure, vertical issues for sure, and or class 2 with an airway issue is super urgent, or profile issue, or speech issue, or myo issue. So many things here I'm adding onto it. All right, hopefully that gives you some idea. I hope it helps. Thanks.